just watched the Jan Hooks, Phil Hartman Love is a Dream from SNL in either the late 80s or early 90s. I was very emotional because, like, it's not even really a funny sketch, and it's kind of interesting because SNL these days does not do sketches that don't have some sort of a joke. Like, I kept watching it thinking, oh, something's gonna happen that's ridiculous. But no, it's just really pretty and really sad and sweet, and I was emotional. It's so sad that Jan Hooks is gone because she's another person that I really liked when I was little. Like little. I was 3 years old and I loved SNL. And it just makes me sad because she wasn't old, and I feel like as I get older and as I'm approaching middle age, a lot of the people that I liked from my youth are gonna be gone, and it's just so sad to me that that keeps happening. That's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about haunted houses randomly because Halloween is coming up, and Luis and I and his family went to a haunted house the other day, and it was one of those ones that's like half outside, half in a historic house. And there's actually a trailer for it, which is really cool. I guess I could link to it so you can see it. The trailer is actually way scarier than the haunted house itself was. They come up to you, like get in your face and say something, and like make it so that you have to get past them somehow. It's like the creepy sort of haunted house, but they didn't touch people because they weren't allowed to, which was nice to know. They told us beforehand they're not allowed to touch you, and if you touch them, you could get arrested because they're minors, which right off the bat was like, yay, they're not going to touch us, and that'll keep it from being so scary that I just want to leave or pee myself. The cop that like gave us the little intro before we went into the cornfield was like, please don't touch any of the props or the sets because the kids worked so hard on them. And I was just like, wait a minute, is this going to be 5-year-olds? Did 5-year-olds make this haunted house? Painting the walls and crying because they worked so hard on it and people messed with it. No, it was high school kids. I couldn't take it too seriously after that. She kind of ruined it. But it was a good haunted house. The costumes and everything were really good. The kids were really good. The kids. And it reminded me, when I was little, I might have shared this story with you before, but I can't remember. When I was like 8, I decided that I was going to make a haunted house in my friend's backyard. And all I used was a like red wagon that we carted her little sister Sydney Settlemeyer in. So we like pushed her through the backyard and made up all this stuff just using the back porch of the house and like the trees and just how the trees happened to look. We would tell Sydney scary stories about like, oh, this is where the lady died, and like a tree, like branch would be hanging down from the tree, and we'd be like, oh, someone was hanged here once. And Sydney was so scared, and it was the greatest feeling ever. I was scaring a little child. I love scaring children. I remember like wheeling her through the yard, and it was bumpy, and the backyard was like, you know, it was in Virginia Beach, so like southern, and there was wisteria and ivy and an old porch with like the wood kind of not sturdy really for small children, but at the time we didn't realize. Like the windows were dark because nobody was in the house at the time. So we would just like make up all these stories and try to scare the crap out of Sydney, and if we made her cry, that's how we knew that we won. And we made her cry a lot. I'm a huge fan of the Haunted Mansion, and I have been since I was about 5. I wrote it for the first time and I hated it. I was terrified. I cried the whole time and I just wanted to get off. And my sister thought it was hilarious because she rode with me, and she was like, Sarah, it's okay, stop crying, it's just funny. But I hated it. And then I wrote it with my parents like a few hours later, and it wasn't scary anymore. I suddenly realized, oh, this ride is actually funny if you're actually paying attention and can appreciate the stuff and appreciate that nothing is going to happen to you. It's quite funny. And I think the thing that scared me the most about when I wrote it with my sister is the ride kept shutting down. So at one point my sister and I were stuck in the doom buggy with this ghost like popping up in front of us over and over again, and that messes with a 5-year-old psyche. So actually, now that I think about it, when Sydney was 5, that's when we wheeled her through the backyard and scared her. Oh my god, I should apologize to her on Facebook.